Warahmatullah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. With the grace of Allah Almighty, the Waqf-e-Nau Ijtima was held today and is reaching its conclusion. A good proportion of Waqf-e-Nau have reached an age where they are able to make their own decisions and choices in life. This is why I directed the Waqf-e-Nau department that the girls who are above the age of 15 should now decide for themselves whether or not they wish to continue with the pledge of Waqf that was made by their parents. To be a member of Waqf-e-Nau is not merely a title one holds. Rather, it in fact entails a responsibility. Therefore, you should not be content simply by the fact that you have the honor of being in the fold of Waqf-e-Nau. Instead, you should try to understand the responsibilities upon you as a member of Waqf-e-Nau. You should be aware of the duties and tasks you are expected to perform and the behavior and conduct you need to display. You should know the appropriate type of clothing to wear and what the standard of your parda should be. You should also be aware of the type of education and should attain and how that education can be you should aware of the type of education you should attain. Second, and how that education can be utilized for the best interest of the Jamaat. If this is not the case, then to simply hold the title of Waqf-e-Nau will hold no value. There should be a clear distinction between a Waqf-e-Nau girl and a non-Waqf-e-Nau Ahmadi girl. The parents of normal Ahmadi girls do not pledge that they will sacrifice their child for the sake of their religion. A normal Ahmadi girl does not have to renew a bond that she will present herself for the sake of serving her religion. And that she will try to acquire education in a manner that will be best for the Jamaat. Or, in other words, that she will acquire an education according to the Jamaat's requirements. The Jamaat requires doctors, teachers, translators, journalists, and also those skilled in a range of other fields. Those are appropriate for the Ahmadi girls, suitable for the Ahmadi girls. The Jamaat needs members who make sacrifices to carry out the tarbiyat and training of the children in such a manner that they become excellent and beneficial individuals for the Jamaat. Although every Ahmadi girl should realize this responsibility of excellent tarbiyat and training in order to become beneficial to the Jamaat. A Waqf-e-Nau girl has a far greater responsibility in this respect. You will not be able to develop this spirit and state until you strive to your utmost to lead your lives according to the teachings given to us by Allah Ta'ala. Thus, whilst girls are required to acquire secular education, to become doctors, teachers, translators, and also to enter various other fields, as I have said earlier, there is also an expectation alongside this of Waqf-e-Nau girls to attain the highest standard of religious education. I often draw the attention of the women of the Jamaat in general that in order to properly take care of the future generations, Ahmadi women need to enhance their religious knowledge and know their traditions, so that through this the future generations can remain attached to the Jamaat. Thus, it is clear just how far and wide reaching the duty of a Waqf-e-Nau girl stretches. Here in Europe, Allah has given you the opportunity to acquire the highest standard of secular education. However, there is also a threat alongside this of bad habits developing, which may clash with Islamic morals and traditions. And so you need to protect yourselves from this danger. It is said by some that here in in European society, it is very difficult to observe parda, to wear the hijab or cover one's head, to adopt modest clothing, or not to make friendship with boys. They say that if we do all of this, then students and children will tease and mock us in our college, school, or university. First of all, every Ahmadi girl needs to dispel this feeling of apprehension that boys or girls in this society will make fun of them after seeing the modest clothes they wear. Their hijab or the fact that they choose not to befriend boys. However, a Waqf-e-Nau girl should far exceed others in this standard and give even greater attention towards this, because it is they who must set the correct and proper Islamic examples for others. Islam does not forbid anyone from attaining an education. As I said before, the Jamaat has a great need for doctors, teachers, translators, language experts, and also those trained in various other fields. Naturally, this standard can only be acquired by attaining an education. However, when acquiring this education, we would also have to uphold our moral standard and maintain our limits. Certainly, Islam says that no Muslim man or woman should remain ignorant. Rather, they should indeed attain education. This is why the Holy Prophet ﷺ gave special attention and consideration to women's education. Drawing attention to women's education, the Holy Prophet ﷺ also said that half of the religion should be learned from Aisha. Here, the Holy Prophet ﷺ has not stated for women alone to acquire this education from Aisha, Hazrat Aisha, but rather he has given advice in general to attain knowledge of half of the religion from her. Hence, at times, Hazrat Aisha radhiyallahu ta'ala anha would even take classes from behind a curtain, and she would impart her knowledge and teachings at gatherings which men would also attend. And so, this makes it very clear that in this spread of knowledge, Islam has not discriminated between men and women. And thus, to acquire and convey knowledge is the obligation of every Muslim. For a believing woman, it is important to acquire wisdom, implement and convey it, and especially use it for the training of her children. Indeed, the Holy Prophet ﷺ said that you should train your children in the best possible manner. Further, the Holy Prophet ﷺ also said that wisdom is like the lost belonging of a believer. Wherever it is found, he or she should grab hold of it. Hence, our women and girls, and in particular the Waqf-e-Nau, should attain the highest standard of education, and then they should strive to use that knowledge to give benefit to the world. It is also a favor of Allah on the Jamaat that through the blessings of Khilafat, He established an organization for the training of women, which gives them the opportunity to hold events and programs freely and conveniently. These programs are not only for raising, for training in religious education, but also to improve physical health, to help serve humanity as well as for other activities. Thus, you, the Waqf-e-Nau, are also part of this organization. In other words, you are members of Lajna-e-Mailla. Being Waqf-e-Nau does not mean that you are exempt from Lajna-e-Mailla or Nasrat and are outside their folds. Lajna-e-Mailla and Nasrat are fundamental organizations, and so it is necessary to attend their events and functions. In fact, the Waqf-e-Nau should take part in the programs of Lajna-e-Mailla and Nasrat to an even greater degree than other normal Ahmadigas, because you are those who have completely dedicated yourselves for the service of their religion. Hence, you should channel your thoughts by keeping the principle in mind that you will strive to perform your every task, giving precedence to your faith over worldly matters. And when you adopt this mentality, the thought can never emerge in your minds that due to the attitude of certain superior office bearers, you wish to excuse yourself from any task or responsibility you have been given. Instead, your way of thinking will be that whatever the attitude or behavior of an office holder is, as a Waqf-e-Zindagi, I will display complete obedience and uphold the spirit of my Waqf, utilizing all my abilities and capabilities to serve my religion. You may feel certain office holders are dealing with you in an inappropriate manner, or that they are not utilizing you for work properly. However, this should never lead you to asking to take leave from a task or duty. I also want to draw your attention to the fact that many of you have reached a mature age, are now married, and with the blessings of Allah Almighty have children, and at the same time you are also serving the Jamaat. But remember that your first and primary obligation is to give full care and attention to the tarbiyat and training of your children who are being brought up by you. However, alongside this, you should also spare some time to serve the Jamaat and to serve in any capacity of work given to you by the Jamaat. Never let the thought emerge in your heart that our capabilities are not being utilized properly and we could have been given a better opportunity to serve. Irrespective of whether you are given a responsibility that is applicable to your education or not, you must serve the Jamaat to the best of your ability. You should always remember that the purpose of attaining education is to enlighten and illuminate your minds so that you carry out the training and upbringing of your children in a suitable and appropriate manner. It should never come into your mind that you must be given work which is relevant to your education. Rather, service of the Jamaat with complete dedication must be your sole purpose. Indeed, if you are given any responsibility which is applicable to your qualifications, then it will simply be a positive point that you are being given an opportunity to demonstrate your capabilities. Thus, today I will say briefly to the Waqfat-e-Nau that by just gathering together for the Ijtima, taking part in the competition or listening to speeches alone will not enable you to achieve your objectives. You will only achieve your aim and goal when you come to understand the true spirit of Waqf and use all of your capabilities entirely for the sake of serving Jamaat Ahmadiyya. Your Waqf will only prove to be of benefit when those of you who are married carry out the tarbiyat and training of your children in an excellent manner. Your Waqf will be beneficial only when you carry out even the smallest tasks and duties you are given with utmost satisfaction and happiness. Your Waqf will be of use only when your attire and clothing is according to the true Islamic dress code. Your Waqf will bear fruit only when you read and understand the Prophet Messiah's teachings and then make it a part of your lives. Your Waqf will be beneficial only when you try to lead your lives according to the Quran and the Sunnah. That is the practice of the Holy Prophet ﷺ. And your Waqf will be truly beneficial when you establish a living connection with Allah Ta'ala. Thus, search for the commandments of Allah and strive to act upon them at all times. Always safeguard and protect your prayers. You should form your outer appearance and state in accordance to the teachings of Islam. Fashion and new types of clothing should not be your aim, but rather you should follow the command of Allah to adopt the real type of covering, which is libas-e-taqwa. If you keep yourself covered with the garb of taqwa, righteousness, then you will constantly be trying to attain the pleasure of Allah. And when your objective will be purely to win God's pleasure, you will act exactly in the way Allah the Almighty has commanded. The world will not be your goal, but rather your faith and religion will hold greatest importance for you. Once you adopt libas-e-taqwa in this Western society, you will not be disturbed or upset when people poke fun at you and say, look at that girl wearing hijab or observing parda and wearing modest attire. Instead, you will always keep the commands of Allah in view, and you will feel proud that you are adopting the libas-e-taqwa. And this same way, the younger girls should also remember that from childhood they should start to form habit and develop their conduct in a way which can guide you in your lives. You should constantly try to reform yourself according to the teachings of Islam to enable you to maintain your faith and religion. Thus, never miss saying your prayers. Always give attention towards your education, and instead of chasing after the latest fashion, in clothes, you should show greater concern for whether your clothing is suitable and modest. It is wrong to think that up to the ages of 5 or 6 or 7, it is fine for a child to wear frocks or dresses or purely European style clothing, such as short blouses or jeans. In fact, you would have to develop the habit from an even earlier age of wearing clothes which cover your body appropriately. Thus, you should develop modesty within yourselves. In your friendship, you should be mindful to not befriend people who take you away from your religion. Instead, you should befriend those who are decent and sincere, rather than those who are immodest and shameless. You need to give full attention to your education. You should try to listen to your parents when they advise and train you with reference to religious teachings and the traditions of the Jamaat. And remember that if any question arises in your mind, then without any hesitation, you should write to me. May Allah the Almighty enable all of you to become proper Waqfat now, and to become excellent and beneficial members of the Jamaat. Ameen. Now, you join me in silent prayer. Ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.